Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. A heavy pressure that seemed impossible to defend against bore down on everyone on the cloud platform. At this moment, Gao Shuan's death seemed like a trivial matter. Everyone's attention was focused on Wang Shizhong, the head of the secretariat and a person who held a high position. The soldiers looked up and placed their hands on the hilts of their sabers. Wang Shu looked at the white-haired old man in shock. On the other hand, Wang Shizhong struggled to maintain a neutral expression. However, his expression looked unnatural and stiff. "Senior Liu, you're joking, right? Do I look like someone who likes to joke?" Lu Zhou asked. Wang Shizhong's expression froze. Just because of Ji Liang? Just because of Ji Liang? Nay. Ever since Ji Liang's return from the rock forest, its condition was not at its best. On the dashboard, its status still remained as resting. Apart from its short rest in the rock forest, it did not seem to rest. It looked exhausted. If it had merely used its ability to replenish Yu Shangrong's life, it would not be exhausted to this extent. Take Wizard for example. Wizard was never in this state after it used its ability. Wang Shizhong felt that this was an overreaction. Nevertheless, he said, "My daughter is wrong, but this isn't something that deserves capital punishment. Please reconsider, Senior Liu. If there's an offense, I'll repay you in kind, but please spare her." After that, Wang Shizhong slowly rose to his feet. Then, he beckoned Wang Shu over and said, "Shu, on your knees." "No." Wang Shu turned away. "Bastard." Wang Shizhong raised his hand. A red energy hand seal grabbed his daughter over. Wang Shu yelped. She was not a match for her father and could only let her father pull her over to the center of the platform. Wang Shizhong pushed Wang Shu down with the red palm seal. Thud. Wang Shu fell to her knees immediately. The others looked at Wang Shizhong with complicated looks in their eyes. Whether it was Nie Qingyun or Xia Chengqiu, even the young emperor, Li Yunzheng, did not expect the old man to be able to pressure Wang Shizhong to such an extent. He was the head of the secretariat, after all. The officials of the royal court treated Wang Shizhong with respect. Even the Sky Marshal Court's Yu Qinshu was wary of him. How could they not be surprised to see him so submissive in front of this old man? It was like a joke. How could Li Yunzheng, who was used to seeing Wang Shizhong conducting himself in a high and mighty manner, not be shocked? Is that all? Lu Zhou looked at Wang Shu. In other words, kneeling would not get her out of trouble. These people were too optimistic. Wang Shizhong said, "I can promise you, Senior Liu, that I'll heavily punish those who hurt Ji Liang. Moreover, my family will present you with high-grade cultivation materials, extreme-grade talismans, cultivation medicinal pills, medicinal herbs, extreme-grade spirit stones, or anything you want as reparations, Senior Liu." Wang Shu looked at her father in shock. She had never seen her father so submissive before. He even offered to pay such a huge price. Lu Zhou could easily kill Wang Shizhong with a palm strike, let alone someone like Wang Shu. If he wanted to kill Wang Shu, he would not do it himself. Although it was easy to kill them, it would be tantamount to declaring war on the royal court if he did that. The imperial family of the Golden Lotus domain was already powerful, let alone the Red Lotus domain's royal court. The capital probably wielded some secret weapon that even Yu Qinshu was worried about. Otherwise, would someone like Yu Qinshu align himself with the royal court? Lu Zhou slowly rose to his feet. He shook his head and said, "Let's change the conditions. Let's hear it. First, those who hurt Ji Liang must die. Second, I want more than 10,000 extreme-grade talismans, medicinal pills, and spirit stones. Third, her talents are mediocre. The way I see it, she has no need for her Dantian Sea of Qi." Wang Shizhong frowned and said, "Senior Liu, I can promise you the first two conditions, but the third one. This is my bottom line. You should know that nobody has ever dared to bargain with me," Lu Zhou said in a low voice. "Fourth." There's a fourth condition? Wang Shizhong's heart sank. He felt that his heart was bleeding. Lu Zhou stroked his beard and said, "This fourth condition isn't for me but for Great Tang. From this day onward, you'll return power to Li Yunzheng. Fifth, you and your daughter have to spend some time on Cloud Mountain." The cloud platform was as silent as a graveyard when Lu Zhou finished speaking. Wang Shizhong glanced at Wang Shu. Realization dawned on him. Ji Liang was merely a pawn used to exert pressure on him. These conditions were the old man's objectives all along. Nie Qingyun rejoiced inwardly at this development. He lauded Lu Zhou for this move. There was no need to doubt the royal court's strength. Surely, they had some means that even the Sky Martial Court had to be wary of. However, if they managed to clear the traitors by Li Yunjing's side and support him, the problems would be easily solved. The conflicts between the Ninth Temple, the Cloud Mountain, and the palace would be solved as well. It was true that the older one was, the wiser one would be. Wonderful. This is a wonderful move. Li Yunzheng looked at Lu Zhou incredulously. Old Mr. Lu is for the authority to be returned to me. Li Yunzheng had fantasized countless times about the grand picture he would paint in Great Tang once he gained authority. The commoners would live out their days happily as an era of peace and prosperity was ushered in. However, his fantasies remained fantasies. There was no way they would become a reality. Wang Shizhong said, "Although I'm the head of the secretariat, the authority doesn't lie on my shoulders alone. Moreover, I've tried my best to compensate for what happened to Ji Liang. Are you sure you're going to insist on being unreasonable, Senior Lu?" "Nay, nay, nay." Ji Liang trotted in a circle and neighed. At this moment, it emitted green gas from its body. Conk said, Ji Liang had been poisoned. Now that it had expelled the poison, it wants to go back to sleep. At this moment, Wang Shu suddenly rose to her feet and ran. "Take me away." The two soldiers standing behind her took each of her arms and flew into the sky. Yu Shangrong's expression was neutral as he said, "Too late." Primal Qi surged as soon as Yu Shangrong joined his palms together. 60,000 energy swords weaved themselves into a heavenly net and barred their way. Wang Shu was completely shocked by this. She hurriedly cried out, "Break through the net. Hurry. What are you waiting for? Help me." The soldiers on the ground were confused by Wang Shu's sudden rebellious move. However, seeing their young lady in trouble, they could not endure it and rose into the sky to break the 60,000 energy swords. Yu Shangrong crossed his hands. He circulated primal qi from his dantian and pushed down. The 60,000 energy swords fell like torrential rain. Swoosh. 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 The palace soldiers brandished their sabers wildly. Soon after, they were forced to lower their attitudes. With swift movements, Yu Shangrong reached for Wang Shu. At this moment, red energy surged out of Wang Shizhong before he moved toward Yu Shangrong at lightning speed. Bam. 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 Wang Shizhong struck with his palm. Yu Shangrong easily dodged the attack with movements as light as a swallow. Wang Shizhong pushed his palm out. A huge palm seal sailed toward Yu Shangrong. Yu Shangrong launched his own palm seal and retreated on the momentum. "Senior Lu, forgive me for not being able to agree to the third condition. My daughter expended a lot of effort to cultivate. There's no difference between killing her and destroying her sea of qi," Wang Shizhong said. Yu Shangrong, who was used to having the longevity sword, felt a like toothless tiger without his sword at this moment. However, the sword devil was the sword devil. Even without teeth, his attitude did not change. "Kill her then." With a flurry of movements, Yu Shangrong appeared above Wang Shizhong. Meanwhile, the Cloud Mountain elders and disciples, and the members of the Thousand Willow Monastery watched the fight unfold. There was no other place more suitable for a sparring session than the cloud platform. It was perfect in terms of the size, the space for in-air maneuvers, and the view. When Yu Shangrong appeared above his opponent, he split into three. Return and enter three souls. The three figures appeared blurry as they moved at lightning speed. Wang Shizhong was incredibly cautious. He quickly manifested his avatar. Whiz. An avatar close to 180 feet tall appeared above the cloud platform. The red lotus blossomed and spun underneath it. 9.5 leaves. Wang Shizhong is a 9.5 leaf cultivator. There was no need to reiterate just how terrifying the forces of the royal court could be. The head of the secretariat alone possessed such a formidable cultivation base. What about the captains or elites inside the palace? There were also the Daoist formations that had never been activated before in the palace. There was also Yu Qinshu, a karmic fire user, and the various cultivation elites in Great Tang's 10 circuits. Bam. 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 Yu Shangrong used his hand as a sword to slash at the avatar. Wang Shizhong said gruffly, "Retreat." Then, he quickly unleashed a blast from the red lotus that pushed Yu Shangrong back. Yu Shangrong was about to manifest his avatar when Wang Shizhong turned around and pushed Wang Shu away. "Leave. I'll deal with him." At this juncture, there was no longer any hope of having a peaceful discussion. Wang Shizhong, naturally, prioritized his daughter over any peaceful discussion. Lu Zhou remained motionless as he looked at Nie Qingyun meaningfully and asked, "Am I supposed to do this myself as well?" Nie Qingyun shuddered. Smack. Nie Qingyun slammed his hands down on the black table, breaking it immediately. Like a fired arrow, he shot into the air and shouted, "This is Cloud Mountain, not a place where you can act as you please. Get down." Then, Nie Qingyun threw his heaven-grade Sky Soul Saber that was wrapped in a dense layer of energy sword toward the huge chariot. Everyone watched this shocking scene with eyes almost falling out of their sockets. Wang Shizhong unleashed his grand technique and tried to block the Sky Soul Saber. Nie Qingyun said gruffly, "Avatar." Whiz. A 200-foot red lotus avatar appeared, announcing the strength Nie Qingyun prided himself onto the thousands of Cloud Mountain disciples present on the scene. Boom. The avatars collided. Wang Shizhong was sent flying. He grunted in pain. His blood essence boiled as he said, "I don't understand this. You're a 10-leaf cultivator, why are you doing another person's bidding?" "There are many things you don't understand," Nie Qingyun said. "Alas, that old fiend, Sikong, isn't here. However, I'm enough to deal with all of you. You're not worthy of fighting Senior Lu." Li Yunzheng, the monarch of an empire, turned to look at Lu Zhou again. How powerful is he? Even 2 10-leaf cultivators have to follow his orders? That's amazing, Sect Master. The Cloud Mountain disciples exclaimed in unison with an expression of admiration on their faces. Regardless of how powerful outsiders were, they were still outsiders. They were, naturally, moved when they saw their sect master's strength. "Sect Master Nye, we're here to seek peace." Wang Shizhong fought back his surging blood essence as he reeled back. Nie Qingyun ignored Wang Shizhong and continued controlling his Sky Soul Saber. "This is bad. Run." The Sky Martial Court disciples and the cultivators from the palace leaped off the huge chariot and scattered in different directions. At this moment, a massive energy saber from the Sky Soul Saber dropped down. Boom. The huge chariot could not withstand the powerful strike from the Sky Soul Saber that was being wielded by a 10-leaf cultivator. It was easily cleaved into 2. The formation veins were damaged, and the chariot shattered. At the same time, boxes from the flying chariot fell from the sky. "There are so many boxes?" Xia Chengxiu stared at the boxes in awe. "I'm going to catch the boxes." Finders keepers. Little Yuan moved at lightning speed. She moved with her 7 stars cloud treading steps and supreme purity jade slip. Her scarlet nirvana sash flew over the heads of the others like a dancing dragon, stirring up a gust of wind as it headed toward the boxes. The nirvana sash moved quickly. It shot to the left and right before it caught the boxes. In just a blink of an eye, it caught more than 10 boxes. Currently, Little Yuan's control of the nirvana sash was almost perfect. After catching the 10 boxes, Little Yuan flew toward her master. Suddenly, dozens of cultivators lunged toward Little Yuan at the same time. Half of them wore armor while the other half wore robes. These were the men from Sky Marshal Court and the palace. Lu Zhou's expression remained calm. He was not in a hurry. Everything was within his control. Zhenghai grinned before he said loudly, trying to attack my 9th junior sister? You'd have to go through my saber. Then, he leaped up and threw his desolate grey jasper saber out. The great dark heaven memorial. Like a great cartwheel, it killed the cultivators in the air mercilessly. Ding. Killed a target. Reward, 500 merit points. Domain extra, 500 merit points. Ding. Killed a target. Reward, 500 merit points. Domain extra, 500 merit points. Upon seeing this, Li Yunzheng was shocked. A desolate grade weapon? You've got a sharp eye, Lu Zhou said. Old mister, this. Is he your disciple as well? What? Why can't I be his master? Lu Zhou asked. No, it's not that. Li Yunzheng hastily waved his hands. I was just curious. Old mister, you said you're going to find me a teacher. I don't think you have to look for one. You're perfect. I'm not much older than the 2 little girls. If I'm your grand disciple, won't I have to call them senior aunts? That's awkward, right? I'm no longer accepting disciples. It's an honor being my grand disciple. Are you turning down my offer? Lu Zhou asked. Li Yunzheng was taken aback. Then, he said tentatively, in that case, I should address you as Grandmaster, right? Indeed. Lu Zhou nodded. Li Yunzheng straightened his back and cleared his throat before he solemnly asked, May I ask a genuine question? Let's hear it. You're from the Golden Lotus domain. If one day, I obtain the power to rule the empire, will you become like them? Li Yunzheng asked. Lu Zhou did not reply to the question. Instead, he beckoned Li Yunzheng over. Li Yunzheng moved closer. Lu Zhou produced unnamed silently before he opened his other hand. Li Yunzheng was shocked. He cried out hoarsely, Black runes. The legend of the Black Lotus domain is real? The old man is from the Black Lotus domain? Just how far has he traveled? Lu Zhou put unnamed away and continued to watch the battle in the air. After what seemed like hours, Li Yunzheng recovered from the shock. He asked curiously, then. Is my teacher as powerful as my senior uncles? I can tell you honestly that in terms of talent, intelligence, conduct, strategy, or cultivation base, nurturing the body, the governance of a nation, or bringing peace to the lands. He's leagues ahead of you, Lu Zhou replied. Li Yunzheng was overjoyed when he heard this. He immediately cupped his fists together. Thank you, old mister. Grandmaster. At this moment, Zhenghai had killed all of the cultivators who were harassing little Yuan with a crushing force. Nie Qingyun's display of strength was impressive as well. After shattering the flying chariot, he killed 3 deputies before swinging his saber at Wang Shizhong. Bam. 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 3 sabers descended from the skies and struck Wang Shizhong's shield. Wang Shizhong grunted as blood trickled out from the edge of his lips to the ground. Zhenghai said with a grin, Sect Master Nie, you're a quick learner. Nie Qingyun replied with a smile, Comrade Yu, this technique of yours is handy. Thanks. Then, he dove as he released his energy sabers and palm strikes at the same time. Father. Wang Shu's eyes brimmed with tears. She was incredibly frightened at this moment. Yu Shangrong moved swiftly. He raised his hand and formed an energy sword as dozens of cultivators tried to stop him. I'm truly impressed. He formed an energy sword with his bare hands. One needed precise and almost perfect control to form energy with bare hands. It was clear Yu Shangrong did not rely on anything but his fingers to form the energy sword. To a certain extent, it could be seen that he was already on the right track to master the swordless path. From below, Wu cheered loudly. Big brother, do your best. Yu Shangrong swung the energy sword. Every time he swung the energy sword, he would cut down an enemy. The remaining dozens of cultivators continued to swarm toward Yu Shangrong. Yu Shangrong launched a huge energy sword with one hand. The energy sword multiplied into 100 blades that shone dazzlingly with golden light. Bam! 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 The low-rank cultivators could not block the strikes and were struck. Those who were higher in the air could only retreat as they tried to defend themselves. At this moment, Yu Shangrong grabbed Wang Shu. Wang Shu turned around and screamed, "Don't touch me." At the same time, she tried to punch Yu Shangrong. "My apologies," Yu Shangrong said expressionlessly. He looked down at Wang Shu indifferently as he pushed his hand forward. Before her punch could connect, his palm landed on her stomach. Bam! Wang Shu fell from the sky. Shu! Wang Shizhong's eyes turned red. Nia Qingyun dove. The energy sabers kept pushing Wang Shizhong back. Nia Qingyun crossed his hands. Boom! 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 Wang Shizhong spat out a mouthful of blood as he slid along the ground, crashing through 2 tables. He continued sliding before he came to a stop half a foot before Lu Zhou. When he looked up, he saw Lu Zhou stroking his beard and looking down on him calmly. Lu Zhou shook his head and said indifferently, "If this happened in the past, you would have been dead by now." After a brief pause, he added, "You really don't know how to appreciate a favor."